We've just finished an amazing conversation with a panel which I was moderating that was decorated by some of the best panelists. And I'm talking about Polycarp Igathe.
And for me, I hope my epitaph will be God's own food, a salesman for everything.
Dr. Mercy Kunjiri.
We normally say you cannot pour from an empty cup.
And also, amazing human being in David Kinovia.
People cannot fight what they have been part of.
We have spoken about the subject of fit to lead. Leadership brings you to the end of yourself. So please watch out on this channel, please subscribe, and you'll be notified when we upload these videos.
So welcome my friend, the graduate of this particular program, to come and moderate the next session. Thank you very much, Pius. Let's give Pius a good clap. That's not a good clap.
Thank you, Catherine. I think you've done enough justice to my CV. And today is not about me. There are some very amazing people who are here, including the graduates. So very, very excited to be here. But yes, my name is Pius Mushiri. I'm going to be a moderator this evening. It's such a privilege because we have a very distinguished panel. But before we get to the panel, we have our keynote speaker. So allow me to introduce our keynote speaker. And I don't know whether we should, I can't see him. Can we? I'm struggling to, please. Please, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce you to a man who is the epitome of three things. Tell your friend, versatility, strategic thinking, and dynamic leadership. Mr. Polycarp Igathe. Polycarp is no stranger to taking on challenges head-on, whether in corporate world or in public service. It's a soft word for saying politics. I'm being nice. With a career that spans across several sectors, from finance to manufacturing and beyond, he has earned the well-deserved reputation of being a corporate janitor. Say corporate janitor. Who is a corporate janitor? Tell your neighbor, someone who cleans up, put things in order, and fixes what is broken. That is our speaker today. His approach is hands-on. His vision is clear. And his results speak for themselves. Described by the former President Uhuru Kenyatta as a man of integrity, commitment, and exceptional leadership, Polycarp has a track record of transforming challenges into opportunities. He is not only a leader, but a strategic thinker who understands the intricacies of both business and governance. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from a man who embodies resilience, innovation, and the drive to make impactful changes. Please join me, and I urge you, stand up, in welcoming our keynote speaker, Mr. Polycarp Igathe, Managing Director of Tiger Brands. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my brother. Please have a seat. Wow, I was wondering who you're talking about. Because if you come to my household and ask my children who I am, they'll tell you, he says he's God's own fool, who by this time would have died if he didn't get married to Catherine Igathe. he would have died of a very bad bacteria. By this time, by the way, we've been married for 25 years on August 21st. So thank you very much. And congratulations for launching Fit to Lead, and congratulations to the graduates today. And thank you so much for that wonderful tee-up and for inviting me to speak today. I think the last time I had a microphone and spoke to an audience this big must have been before August 14th, 2022. And when Kathy said, Polly, do you have time to come? I actually made my way. I spend a lot of time out of Kenya nowadays, but I'm very honored to be back home and to speak about a subject that I'm very passionate about, and that is leadership. I'm passionate about it because I stumbled into leadership back at the University of Nairobi, and there's somebody who saw me then. And if you ask him, who is Polycarp, he'll tell you that guy had a funny haircut, yeah? And his aspiration was to become Kandabongo Man or Dedi Eyango in those days. So Osundwa, it's really good to see you again here. And there was also somebody in the room who I want to declare is a very old friend of ours, Carol Keynote, and she cooked at our wedding, by the way. Yeah, so many years ago. It's a real pleasure to see you. I say I connect with those two people because in my journey, I'm going to talk about relationships. That will be the fourth thing I talk about. But let me begin by saying, why are you fit to lead? Just in case I forgot landing my core points. You're fit to lead because, number one, you're a strategic superhero. A strategic superhero is somebody who can tell the difference between a forest and neck of the woods. You know, you are a forest ranger. You look at a forest or neck of the woods. You can get into the detail, and you can also see the big picture. That's why you're fit to lead. When somebody asks me, why are you fit to lead? I will say, secondly, is because I own my growth. I believe in not dying slowly, like very many people do. Life is a contest. Enjoy the contest. Fall in love with the contest. Your body today is alive because there is a contest between white blood cells and bacteria and viruses. And this time that contest ends, you die. So fall in love with contest and risk-taking. That's the second reason why you're fit to lead. The third reason why I believe I'm fit to lead, I believe you should, I want to submit to you, is you're good in fixing things. Fix the engine, especially the commercial engine. There are too many broken souls out there that needs fixing. There are too many broken businesses out there that needs fixing. So you need to be somebody who recalibrates engines. You rev them up. You're not somebody who becomes a leader by leaving broken souls. There is no prosthetic to a broken spirit. And especially a leader, your biggest tool is influence. It's not power. It's influence. And when you lose the influence, you suffer. You don't produce results through people. So I start again. Fit to lead because you're a strategic superhero. Fit to lead because you own your growth. Fit to lead because you fix the commercial engine and the human engine and the social engine. But lastly, you're a champion of human relations. You really know how to get along. You can walk with the kings. You can deal with the common man. You can deal cross-culturally. And that, for me, is the cube. If I went for an interview and when they ask me, are you fit to lead? I always talk about those four things. But again, I'm not a lecturer, so let me talk about my journey. I told you I'm God's own fool. That's how I describe myself. And a salesman. I have literally been a salesman more than anything else. Immediately after university, where Osundwa was my senior, he was in the business school of University of Nairobi, I studied economics and sociology, a Bachelor of Arts at the University of Nairobi. So I consider myself an economist, a sociologist, and lately a physicist, and I'll tell you why. And my journey, from the university, we used to participate in an organization called the ISEC. That's where I started my leadership journey. And it was students who were interested in business and economics who wanted to get into the corporate side, and that's what we got involved in. And it started me out in my first career back in Australia in a place called Queensland Health. I worked for the state of Queensland Department of Health. I was allocating budgets to their health centers in Brisbane and across the state of Queensland back in 1996. Now you know my age. Back in 1996, I came back in 1997 after a round the world tour and landed myself a job with Coca-Cola Southern African Bottling Company, where I started at the bottom as a management trainee. They took me to, I started working in Port Elizabeth, in South Africa, where I'm now working again as an old man. So I'm ending how I started. So I worked as a salesman there, delivering Coca-Cola all over the East London area, Port Shepstone area. Really enjoyed that and rose very quickly. I think between 1996 and the year 2000, I came from a management trainee to the general sales manager of Nairobi Bottlers. So Southern African Bottlers bought Nairobi Bottlers. They sent me to Uganda, where they set up Coca-Cola Century Bottling. They sent me to Tanzania, where we set up Coca-Cola in Mikocheni there. And then I landed in Nairobi Bottlers. So I'm a Coca-Cola salesman. The best job I actually had for a long time, and is a job that eventually planted the seed of why I must fix Nairobi, which is a story I'll tell you later, is when I was area sales manager of Coca-Cola in Nairobi City Center, right? So I'm a Coca-Cola salesman. I eventually left Coca-Cola when I was attracted with good money by Africa Online, right? They gave me the job of a sales and marketing manager of Africa Online. I was actually one of the first people to sell data in Kenya and dial-up email in the year 2000. I remember even one time being called by the Security Council to explain what's the internet, you know. I think the guy was called Cherambos. Sorry, I have to use his name. But the government was worried. What is this internet thing? And I said, you better understand it. You can't beat it. It's like people who are arguing with AI now. Better understand it. You can't beat it. So the business we created in Africa Online is eventually what I think became, I can't remember what it became. So we sold data, list lines. You can't believe it. Let me say, I keep on saying, I used to sell a 64 kilobyte line to a corporate and be paid 1.2 million shillings a month. Now 64 kilobytes line is so smaller than your phone today. You know, I literally have seen that journey. I didn't spend too much time there because the infrastructure of selling was through telephone lines, and there was no electricity in Kenya for 6 months. I don't know, many of you may be young to know that we had 6 months when Moi declared there's no water and there's no electricity in Kenya. Okay, to survive, I moved near State House, and there was always electricity and water because you're on the line.